How much of what we call reality can we really trust?
One mission. Let's find out what this is.
Those power the underworld.
Which is what makes figuring out what's real and what's fake so difficult.
What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another jam-packed episode of Around the Web, where we take a look at strange and mysterious videos from all over the internet that just might shatter your reality. So if you haven't already, do me a huge favor and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join the family, and you don't even gotta think about it later. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy the episode. Watch all the way through because it does help me out, and I'll catch you on the other side. This is Around the Web. Videos like that might make me go vegan. I can only imagine the smell. Disgusting.
Two different volcanoes just erupted on the same exact day on opposite sides of the planet, and the footage that is coming out right now is absolutely insane. Dude, this literally just happened. One of the most active volcanoes on Earth just cracked open in the Indian Ocean. They're saying that 4 different fissures ripped through the surface with lava pouring out at 60 cubic meters per second. 87 hikers had to be airlifted off the summit by helicopter, and some of them were just 30 meters from the lava fountains whenever it blew. And right now, they're saying that the lava flow is approaching the main highway on the island. At the same exact time, thousands of miles away on the other side of the planet, Mount Semeru in a place called East Java shot a column of ash 1 kilometer straight up into the sky. Dude, this thing has been going off with 7 different eruptions in 3 different hours with 100 explosions recorded and detected in a single day. These 2 different volcanoes actually have nothing to do with each other. They're not related at all. One of them sits on a volcanic hotspot in the Indian Ocean, and then the other one sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire.
Like I said in the last episode, the Earth is not happy. Isn't it brilliant that one man gets to be a trillionaire instead of everybody having food? Wow.
Let me see if I got this right. So they took away our SD cards, our memory sticks, and then started charging us for memory to store our data. Okay. Then they started taking away our VHSs and our DVDs and then started charging us to stream movies. Okay. Then they took away our little headphone jack and then started charging us all kinds of amounts for Apple products to make up for not having that headphone jack. Then they started taking away our rights to fix our own cars. And now you got to take it in to go get fixed. Let's see, what else is there? Then they started taking away farmers' rights to have seeds. So they can't grow certain fruits and vegetables anymore. But then they start selling us seedless fruits. So, okay.
It's happening. It's been happening.
Did the Eiffel Tower fall over? Is there a giant crack in the Great Wall of China? Did a pyramid fall into a sinkhole? No, those aren't real. But Google Earth now allows anyone to manipulate its satellite images. It's released a new tool that allows you to change satellite imagery using AI. Google says you can use the tool to bring history to life or to give your favorite place a makeover. We used the AI tool and put it to the test. What if we put a massive swimming pool outside the BBC office here in London? But it's obviously not here. Experts say this tool has dangerous implications.
If you were able to create an image that made it look like a missile strike had taken place on a location, that could be really, really destabilizing, particularly if it's shared on social media in contexts where people aren't necessarily checking everything carefully.
So whilst this tool can create totally unrealistic scenarios, it has the potential to spread real misinformation online. And there's nothing stopping someone from generating fake nuclear sites or missile bases in any country in the world. That could have real-world implications for wars that are happening right now. Google says there are some limitations. For example, it says you can't generate content that's sexually explicit, violent, or hateful, or generate any misinformation, among other things. But this sort of content could fuel misinformation. Google also claims that its own AI detector can spot fake imagery that comes from this new tool because of invisible AI watermarks, but we found it's possible to remove those. And even so, it still means that you have to go through the steps to find out if something's AI generated, which is what makes figuring out what's real and what's fake so difficult.
Scary times. Some things need to be left alone.
Money means one eye. Mon comes from mono, which means single, alone, or one. EY means eye. The one eye is a symbol of God. Money has become people's gods.
This right here is what frozen oxygen looks like, and this is what our blue sky looks like. Pretty similar. And what's even crazier is that some Italian was eating pasta in Sierra Leone, West Africa, and he found something called the sky stone, which I believe was made of about 77% oxygen, and then some like calcium and carbon, a few other minerals and stuff. But it was mainly oxygen, and at room temperature, it was a stone, a solid object. This guy found this in 1990, and a lot of people are claiming that, oh, you know, aliens came here and it's an alien stone and all this stupid stuff, when honestly, guys, it's a piece of the firmament.
Extremely unique mineral and rock, yes. A piece of the firmament? I don't know about that one.
Boomerang mag, 75,000 horsepower, golden quadruple barrel smash 12, fitted with a self-modulating infinite FMJ chamber and a microscopic scope. Anything you need at it. World's biggest musket with an analog sight and a polymetric laser beam tunnel size scope and a pancake clip with automatic chamber stock adjustment tech blaster. Anything you need at Ray's Weapons and Firearms. Yeah, I got it. Got that motherfucking Bear 50 trillion. Anything you need at Ray's Weapons and Firearms.
Man, fuck the regular gun store. I'm going to Ray's.
How many of you guys are shopping at Ray's?
There is a 2-mile wide dome in the ocean, and it's leaving a track behind it.
How do we not know what it is?
Yeah.
I mean, how is there not one tank? I mean, not one tank, submarine, like one mission. Let's find out what this is.
Yeah, why does nobody care?
It could be anything. It could be potentially a weapon.
Dude, a 2-mile wide weapon. Could
Or
you
a
imagine
facility?
If, like, it reminds me of the sailing stones, rocks in the desert
That just move.
that just move, man, and leave trails behind. I thought
Dude,
it
why
was
have we not
fake
figured
at
that
first.
out? Like, let's put a camera on it.
I don't know.
What are we doing?
It's crazy. We have rocks that are just moving.
Have you heard about those things?
No, I haven't.
They're literally in the desert, and you see it's a big rock, and then you'll see just a path behind it.
What the heck?
The sailing stones of Racetrack, Playa, and Death Valley National Park are rocks that move across the desert floor, leaving long trails behind. The rocks, which can weigh up to 700 pounds, have been
Why?
observed and studied since the early 1900s. In 2004, researchers discovered that a rare combination of wind, water, and ice causes the movement.
No.
That's crazy.
Wind, water, and ice is pushing the 700-pound stone across the desert. They started talking about the rocks and completely stopped talking about the 2-mile dome underwater. Like, what's up with that?
What very often occurs is that an elite will get to a very old, ripe age, or they will die in some sort of an accident publicly. Privately, they are taken, and depending on their level, they are either age regressed or they have their consciousness basically downloaded into a clone that is an exact duplicate of them. They then disappear from the public eye forever and go into these programs or go into retirement. This is something that pops up a lot in the programs, and everyone that is served deeply knows that the elite have access, and many of them never really die.
What is the closest portal to Earth?
There are some on Earth, lots of portals on Earth directly. Like if you go to Peru alone, you can see those portals that they have shaped like basically doorways on walls that can be activated. So you can go through that. We don't have the technology to do that, but local shamans, and I talked to one of them recently, like a week ago, that told me that they go through those portals because they can activate it through frequencies.
Really?
But it's a one-way street. They usually don't go all in, they just put their heads through it, and then they can see what's on the other side, and they can feel the energy from it, whatever it is.
And these shamans, I mean, I imagine that they don't have advanced technology. They must be using...
This guy said they stick their head through to see what's on the other side. Yeah, that's bullshit. 5 rules to live by in 2026. Number 1, if Bill Gates is involved, avoid it. Number 2, if the government says it's true, it's false. Number 3, if the CDC, FDA, WHO says it's safe, it's not. Number 4, if the government makes a law to help you, it'll eventually hurt you. And number 5, if the media agrees, it's a lie. If you're living by those rules, you're doing pretty good in 2026 because that is more true than a lot of people realize.
Okay, a bunch of you guys were asking me what is this one-eyed last post theory. So I'm going to show you a bunch of examples and you draw the conclusion. Because there's just way too many for this to be a coincidence. Hayden Panettiere, and here's her last post with one eye. This is X's Instagram. His last post, one eye only showing. Oliver Tree's Instagram. His last post, one eye only. Juice WRLD's Instagram. And Juice WRLD's last post is crazy because it's his side profile, but he's also holding up a triangle with his fingers. Do the math. Like, that's not a normal pose. Mac Miller, a lot of you brought him up in the comments. His last post, one eye. And he's even doing it like this. Who does that? Also making a triangle. Cameron Boyce's Instagram. Literally a side profile one eye photo. Prince's Instagram. Now, while it's not like one eye only, it's heavily focused on one eye compared to the other. So I don't mean to go all tinfoil hat theory on you, but did I show you enough examples to make you start thinking a little bit? Because this is not a coincidence.
That is a 50% chance with everybody's last picture to show one eye or show two. So could it be a tinfoil hat thing? I think so.
Did you hear that China sent out a PSA to its citizens to not respond to aliens if they are contacted? Please, that was just on Reddit. No, the official state-backed Chinese news station with over 200,000 station hubs. They send the signal out. Yeah, they sent out saying don't talk to the aliens back. If you're contacted, go to the UN and tell them. The United Nations, they literally sent out a text alert all over China. Apparently it was a national emergency enough to do that. So that means a lot of people were contacted. We're not hearing anything about this. We never hear anything out of China or Japan or really Korea. We don't actually hear anything about our own country, actually. Why the hell would aliens want to contact us? Well, our planet is controlled and civilization is about to cease to exist because the powers that be are trying to kill us all off after their greed takes over. So maybe they're trying to help us, you know? Wait, so why would they tell us to talk to the UN? Good question. I guess the motherfucker over there knows what to say to aliens. Isn't that interesting?
I guess my question is, how do you get the aliens to contact you?
Who is your competition?
We have no serious competition.
None?
Not presently.
Who's chasing you?
Well, if you mean chasing and has a serious chance of catching, then I think none that I'm aware of.
That was pure confidence. Somebody in the comments said, that's the most successful African American of all time. Disrespectful.
You believe in dinosaurs, but you don't believe in unicorns? Even though there are entire records of them as if they are real creatures, not fantasy or children's stories, real. So take a look at this. This is a book from the 1600s written by a physician all about the unicorn. And what's interesting is it does not read like mythology, it's written like a scientific investigation. So a serious physician spending hundreds of pages studying the unicorn as if it is a part of natural history and including entire chapters about the powers of the unicorn horn. According to these old texts, unicorn horns were believed to purify water, detect toxins, neutralize poisons, and protect from disease. This book even describes ancient rulers drinking from cups made of unicorn horn because they believed the horn could extinguish poison and protect them. Modern historians will say many so-called unicorn horns are just narwhal tusks. Then why are there entire books documenting one-horned land animals separately from the narwhal? Honestly, we've seen this pattern before. Dragons became myths, giants became legends, and advanced civilizations became just stories. Then eventually, the public is trained to laugh at an entire topic before they even investigate it. And maybe that's the real story here. Because when you dig into books like this, you realize what we were taught in history class may not be entirely accurate. and why, when they want to reset the world, they burn the books first. But what do I know? I'm just a conspiracy theorist. Let me know what you think.
First off, that was a concerning amount of milk she was about to drink. That's had to be a half gallon of milk she was going to drink. And then secondly, how many of you guys believe that unicorns once walked the earth? Because it's believable.
我们看一下全网。我们看一下全网最帅的机器人，没有美颜，没有滤镜，实物拍摄啊。
Crazy times we live in, guys. Crazy times.
This video went super viral on TikTok. After looking at some chicken under the microscope, the user finds a bunch of worms. This is fake. It's made up for shock value. So what's really in a piece of chicken? Well, let's find out. These chicken pieces are mass produced, so they undergo a bit of processing. Here you can see that I found microplastic in the chicken. But let's take a closer look using my biological microscope. Going to look at the juice of the chicken to see if there are any worms living inside it. You are going to be surprised by what I found, and the following footage explains why you need to thoroughly cook chicken. So you can see fats, oils, and proteins that are inside the chicken. The fibers change color under polarized light, but on closer inspection I found moving bacteria. But this is very different to worms. You are unlikely to find worms, but still wash and cook your chicken.
I don't know. Don't rip my head off in the comments, but is everybody washing your chicken straight out the pack?
What are you doing, sausage? Alright, see you in a bit.
That didn't look like a seal.
In Germany, it's legal to break out of prison. So German law considers the desire for freedom a basic human instinct. So attempting to escape itself isn't a crime. Here's the catch though. You can't commit any other crimes while escaping. No violence against guards, no damage to property, no stealing. If you do escape and get caught, they'll bring you back to finish your sentence, but no extra time will be added if you didn't commit any other crime.
Somebody in the comments, let me know if this is true, because that's crazy. That's crazy. Pink dolphins? Is that real?
I wish this was fake, but again, it's unfortunately not. And we're doing this live, so no one can claim conspiracy theory. You can see the Kraft Heinz URL at the top. This is a UK website, but Kraft Heinz nonetheless. Let's customize a ketchup bottle. First entry we'll try. No issues there. You can see it populate on the ketchup bottle. Let's try Allah. No problems with that. Again, you can see it populate on the bottle. We'll try Satan. No issues with Satan. What about the devil? No problems with the devil. Again, you can see it right there on the bottle. Lucifer. No problems with that. But what about Jesus? Suddenly, we get an error. The message you submitted has been flagged for moderation. Wow.
Heinz ketchup? Canceled.
Let's see if you have a normal mind. So I'm going to give you a series of instructions and questions, and you just have to answer them as quickly as possible. So here we go. First up, think of a number between 1 and 10. Got it? All right, cool. So now double that number. Add 8. Divide that by 2. And now subtract your original number from that number. So whatever you're left with, now you want to take the corresponding letter in the alphabet. So if you're left with 1, for example, you're going to have A. If you have 2, you'll have B, and so on and so forth. So now choose a country that starts with that letter. Awesome. So now take the next letter in the alphabet. So if you had A originally, this would now be B. If you had C, it would be D. And now choose an animal that starts with that letter. Great. So now you're going to choose the color of that animal, because there could be some variation. Awesome. So all done. So if you chose a gray elephant from Denmark, you may have a very normal mind.
Didn't work. How many of you guys got the elephant though?
Does anyone else find this strange that the stage is being set for a massive power outage? Because multiple articles have been released talking about the possibility of an 18-month power outage. Now, why would they use the number 18 at that when talking about this power outage? That's a long time without power. And can you all imagine what would happen in those 18 months? I mean, Gary, Indiana is a preview of what would happen if we went that long without power. They are definitely telling you what is on the way, because why else would they be warning everybody with these articles of the possibility of an 18-month power outage if they weren't planning something? Again, everything feels off anymore, and it just feels like something massive is on the way. You can just feel it. You can. With everything going on, with everything happening, you can just feel like something major is definitely on the way.
Call it whatever, but I have a gut feeling that something big's gonna happen. Is that just me? Let me know in the comments, because I can't be the only one.
The moon appears to be an artificial object. It was brought here about 65 million years ago, corresponding with the time of the demise of the dinosaurs. There is a distinct possibility that a very ancient extraterrestrial race actually brought the moon to Earth's orbit, and that the moon was intended to jumpstart the creation of tides on Earth, which gives us seasons and gives us a climate that is much more happy for mammalian life as opposed to reptilian life.
One of the hardest crops to grow on this planet is taro. Taro was actually supposed to replace sugar, not really for its taste, but for how it was grown. In the 1800s, sugar became something that almost anyone could get their hands on. That's why plantations in the Pacific colonies needed a replacement crop. So they started growing taro because it grew in horrible soil, but no one wanted to work in the fields that taro grew in. So they did something called blackbirding. They kidnapped islanders to farm taro in places like Australia and Fiji, but entire groups of people would die within months. If you cook taro, it tastes kind of like a coconut mixed with a potato. And if you don't cook it, it'll probably kill you. That's probably why they believe taro fields would replace sugar, which is pretty insane.
I've never even heard of taro. So let me know in the comments if you've heard of taro or you've grown it or what, because I know nothing about that. Is that the opening of a portal?
Why is the government trying to take this 175-year-old family farm for the greater good? That is the Henry family farm. It's a 21-acre farm in Cranberry, New Jersey, and it's been in Andy and Christopher's family since 1850. Their grandfather and mother were born here, and when their grandfather passed in 1936, their grandmother and mother continued to run the farm. Today, the land is leased by ranchers for cattle and sheep. Needless to say, this farm is their legacy. It's why they've turned down as much as $30 million to purchase it. So you can imagine the shock when Andy Henry got a letter from the township's attorney in April, stating the town would like to purchase the property for affordable housing. And if the Henry family doesn't want to sell, they'll just take it anyway, via eminent domain. Chairman Mao would have loved this. Eminent domain is where the government can acquire private property for public use, like building bridges and trains. They can also seize your land for private projects, and the Supreme Court agrees on this. The projects are supposed to benefit the greater good, and the government is supposed to provide fair market value. This area used to all be farmland, but today it's surrounded by warehouses. And now New Jersey has its sights set on social justice. This is because of a new law passed in 2024 saying New Jersey must add or renovate 146,000 affordable housing units by 2035. There's also a ton of criteria too, like water, sewer, access to mass transit, and a 250-foot warehouse buffer. For Cranberry, this means building 265 new affordable housing units over the next decade, and the Henry Farm only covers half of that. A month after the township sent the letter, they passed an ordinance to acquire the farm, and by June, they'd submitted plans to the state. Apparently, the development would be in partnership with the Walters Group. They're a New Jersey-based private developer that specializes in affordable housing.
That just goes to show that we don't really own anything. We don't own anything.
Cool. A woman walks behind you, and it looks like she fully disappears. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Watch this video. This is real. Take a look at this.
For you tonight. Philip Seymour Hoffman winning for Best Actor for a Drama. Oh my God, that is my mom. That is my mom.
Wait, what?
That's my mom.
Wait, let's watch it again. That's your mom, but what?
That woman with the dark hair is my mother.
That's your,
That's
your
my
mom?
Yeah. Philip Seymour.
I don't know, guys. Let me know in the comments, though, because that is weird.
You gotta be kidding me. I can't even make this up. Pentagon official addresses UFOs before leaving post. The boss, the guy who was in charge of all the UFO shit, that guy, he quit. He's done. He's leaving his post. He's done with the whole thing. And he had a couple things to say. A couple things that you might be interested, a couple things that I can't even begin to articulate, because I myself am still blown away by the fact that he just started running this place and now he's gone. And everything that's going on with the UFOs, it's a little fucking strange, don't you think?
I can only imagine the burden being in one of those skiffs, hearing about all this UFO talk, the facts, the videos that we don't get to see, everything that we don't get to see, then having to come out to public and completely lie to us.
A video with this picture came across my feed the other day and it really interested me. It says, "You are not ready for this conversation." It has pictures of mountains on the bottom with giant trees on top. Many of you may already know this, but there is a theory currently circulating that some of the mountains we see aren't actually formed by the natural process we've heard about, like tectonic plates moving, volcanic activity, or corrosion. Instead, people have theorized that many of the mountains we see, especially the ones with flat tops or a specific structure to them, are actually ancient giant trees that were cut down or destroyed and then petrified over the course of thousands of years. I know this whole theory sounds really crazy, but if you look at pictures of mountains and tree stumps side by side, you will find some eerie similarities in the way they look and are shaped. And it's also a pretty interesting coincidence that if you look at petrified wood today, it looks almost exactly like rocks, or how a mountain would look if a big piece of wood was petrified. At the end of the day, these are all just theories, but leave a like and let me know in the comments. Do you think we had giant trees in the past, or is this all just nonsense?
It's hard to not see this as a tree stump. That's all I'm saying. That's clearly an ancient tree stump, right?
Most people know Rowan Atkinson as Mr. Bean, you know, the awkward guy, he barely speaks and he walks into these simple situations and somehow turns them into like absolute awkward chaos. And that's his shtick. But here's the part that most people don't know about Atkinson. He's a genius. And I don't just mean in an acting sense. I mean, he is an actual genius. Before becoming one of the most recognizable comedy characters in the world, Rowan Atkinson studied electrical engineering and then went on to get his master's from Oxford. Now, rumors have spread around putting his IQ extraordinarily high, something around like 178. So just by comparison, that is higher than Einstein. Now, whether the exact number floating around is true or not, what is true is that the man behind one of history's most famously foolish comedic characters is actually a very deeply analytical, academically gifted mind. And that actually kind of feels a bit fitting because Mr. Bean only works because of the genius timing. It's Atkinson's precision and observation and tiny details underneath all that chaos. That character was built with almost engineering level precision. And honestly, there's something almost uncanny about realizing that one of TV's most famous fools may have actually been created by one of the world's smartest minds.
I did not know that. Doesn't that prove the exact opposite? Let me know in the comments.
I think you would be shocked to know that many of the most influential people that have graced this planet have all been Freemasons. Let's just start off with D. George Washington. This man joined at 20 years old and paid £2 and 3 shillings to join. And when this man passed away, he was buried with a full formal Masonic funeral procession. And guess what? 14 of our presidents were in the Freemasons, including Andrew Jackson, James Monroe, Theodore Roosevelt, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and Harry S. Truman, and the list goes on and on. Dude, even Benjamin Franklin, John Hancock, Paul Revere, John Marshall were all Freemasons. And Benjamin Franklin published the first ever book about Freemasonry in North America. And this is why many of our government buildings have Masonic symbols on it, including the US Capitol, the freaking White House, the state capitals, and the Library of Congress. Even the Statue of Liberty was made by a Freemason. And the list of people goes on and on. Winston Churchill, Simone Bolivar, I think I said his name wrong, Mark Twain, freaking Mozart, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart wrote several pieces of music for Masonic rituals. Buzz Aldrin, the astronaut who went on the moon, was a Freemason. Even Harry Houdini, the legendary magician and illusionist and stunt guy, was a freaking Freemason. Henry Ford was a Freemason. Dave Thomas, the founder of Wendy's, was a Freemason. Colonel Sanders, the founder of KFC, was a Freemason. Even Shaquille O'Neal is a Freemason. Now, people debate whether Napoleon Bonaparte was a Freemason, but guess what? Every single one of his brothers, Joseph, Louis, Jerome, it goes on, all of them were Freemasons. Napoleon's wife, Josephine, and his sister, Caroline, were all in the Freemason female lodges.
The crazy thing is, we were taught about all these people in school, so whoever created the school curriculum most likely was a Freemason, or they practiced the same rituals and teachings, because I don't think that's a coincidence.
You see, they've been putting this shit in our face so long that we think that this shit is normal. You know how they say aliens have been walking amongst us for years and we don't even notice? Well, I need you to take a look at the new small business administrator that the White House hired and tell me what you think. I need y'all to take a real good look at Kelly
We have some
Leslie.
questions for you here at TikTok. What's going on, Mac?
Look.
First of all, are you in the cabinet? Well, actually I am. After I had an incredible conversation with the president by phone to become SBA administrator, he texted me and said, actually, you're going to be in the cabinet.
I know what y'all gonna say. I don't see nothing wrong here. Regular person. And she does look like a regular person. This is the after to the before I'm about to show you. Pay attention to everything. Pay attention to her face. Pay attention to how long her neck is. Matter of fact, look at this shit. That's the same person right there. Her neck is not the same length it was in that last video. But maybe I'm wrong, right? Hold on one second. In this video, she's not walking how she was walking in the last video. Look at that walk. I need you to go back and check that other video out. Look at that neck. Hold on one second. Look at that face. Mind you, this is a couple of months prior.
It's giving, right?
This video appears to show a momentary loss of gravity on the Earth. That's not really what happened here, but it's pretty wild how this took place. This video shows several structures in an open area. Then out of nowhere, the structures and everything on the ground start floating, and it looks like gravity is no longer working. Now this video gets posted pretty frequently by conspiracy theorists stating that this was anti-gravity testing by the US government. That's actually not true though. This was a well-documented nuclear test that took place in Alaska back in 1971, known as the Canakin nuclear test. The test was very simple. They dug a hole that was 1 mile deep on a remote island in Alaska, put a 5 megaton nuclear warhead down there, and detonated it. This generated a seismic shock equivalent to a magnitude 7.0 earthquake and lifted the ground by 20 feet before it collapsed back down, forming a crater. It's always insane to me looking back at the nuclear tests that took place in the United States, Russia, all these different areas where they just didn't really care about the environmental impact at all.
This is going to be a problem. Apple have just leaked that cameras will be added to your AirPods, and it could come as soon as next month. You see, this week Mac Rumors stumbled upon a new video from Apple themselves, in which Siri can be heard saying with visual intelligence your world becomes savable. All as a guy holds up a book to be captured only wearing AirPods.
See something you like? Just ask me to save it for later.
Now, before we get into the major red flags, the reason Apple is doing this makes a lot of sense. You see, having AI visually help you hands-free is every tech company's wet dream right now, because having to pull out your phone every time is a clunky process. And while yes, Zuck's product does solve that, wearing bulky glasses is certainly not for everyone. But Apple knows that not only are AirPods one of the most popular products in history, but people almost never need to take them out. In fact, it's because it would be so seamless that it becomes a problem. Having increasingly discrete cameras in public is becoming a major concern. Multiple venues in the UK have already banned Meta smart glasses, including restaurants, pubs, theaters, and courts. Other European countries like Germany already have pre-existing laws prohibiting recording devices hidden in everyday objects. So they could just quickly include the likes of earbuds and glasses. Apple's arch nemesis, the EU, are already drafting a report as we speak. And that's not to mention the shocking report that came out earlier this year detailing how Meta's subcontractors watched videos from these glasses of people, quote, using the toilet or having sex. One worker said, "We see everything from living rooms to naked bodies." And if you were to wear your AirPods into a locker room after a workout, almost no one is gonna notice. So when Siri tells you your world can become savable, I think we have to question, is that what we want? Either way, we are rapidly walking into the era of tiny cameras and advanced AI everywhere.
Whatever happened to just listening to music regularly? I don't think there's any escape in technology at this point, so we might as well get used to it.
Every single one of you guys who believe that a data center is a data center, they got you. Because in this movie, right, wink, wink, this is only a movie, the data center, those power the inner underworld, okay? They don't only power the underworld, they also provide water for that underworld, okay? And then in that underworld, they have humans right now that they're seeing, like if they can survive it. And they're giving those people vitamin D because they don't come out ever to get any sunlight. But anyways, wouldn't it be interesting if in that movie, a super drought happened throughout the entire world where they privatize water right now, and only the rich could go under there and live, which could be possible, right? So it's not really a data center. It's a power center plus a water extractor, meaning when the major crazy event happens to where they don't have enough water for everybody, only the haves will be able to use these underground cities.
Candy?
You already know if I'm going to take it?
Wouldn't be much of an oracle if I didn't.
But if you already know, how can I make a choice?
Because you didn't come here to make the choice. You've already made it. You're here to try to understand why you made it.
All right, tell the camera what you think about life. Like, how do you see life?
Sucks, but I'm playing football right now, so.
Even when you do things you love, life still sucks. That's facts. Alright YouTube, that was the episode. I hope you enjoyed. I hope at least one of these videos really got you thinking and really got you questioning reality, because it's not what they tell us. Until next time, stay curious and question everything. This is Around the Web. Peace.